Well, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Craig.
Welcome to the Sunday service, and I'll be your minister and host. The topic for today is courage, moving through fear. This talk will begin with a story I'm going to tell. And it occurred a little over 30 years ago. And I was living at a big ranch in northeastern Nevada. Our community at that time was settled in the northern east corner of Nevada, 120 miles from Salt Lake, and 70 miles from Elko. The nearest town was 30 miles away. And on this particular day, to the east of us was this granite peak. And the locals call it collar and elbow outcroppings. And this mountain was, I read about the geology of it. It's granite, and it's lined with quartz crystals. It's about 300 feet straight up in the air, and it just seems out of place. And apparently, in remote periods of time, there was a volcanic event that happened near that area, and it upthrust the pieces of granite, and this was one of those chunks. And it's been, for millions of years, it's been eroding away. And I was going to take my friend, she was interested in doing some rock climbing, and I hadn't done much myself, but we drove out to you had to go out about 15 miles and then turn off this road on Interstate 80 and then go up to this cliff, and you look up at it, and it's about 300 feet straight up. I mean, there's no how are we going to do this? So we walked around the side of it, and the slope was it was a little bit better because you kind of walk up the hill, and it was about 150 feet. And I thought, well, I think we can do this. So we started climbing. I had her go in front and just push away, and then something happened. We were going pretty smoothly, and then one of the mountain climbers' advice was, don't look down. So I don't know how high we were, but I looked down, and the truck was, you know how you have those little Matchbox toys, that you get in the truck looked like a little Matchbox toy down there. And all of a sudden I was shaking, and I was feeling fear. And I've never been that close to, I don't say death, but, I was just thinking about, if I fell, that wouldn't, I'd probably, it wouldn't be too good. And I was so preoccupied with this, with myself, and I don't know what was in my mind to have her go up in front of me. And then I looked up, and she was about 20 feet in front of me, or 15 feet in front of me, up on the ledge, up on the, going up a crevice. And she couldn't get a foothold in the they call it, on rock climbing, they have these things called chimneys, which are like cracks. And she couldn't get her foot in there. So I resolved to go up there and try to put her foot in and get a foothold for her. And as I was doing that, I just felt all this love and concern for her and her situation. And why did I just totally space out and just think of my experience? And so the fear was kind of melted away, and the urgency of the moment precipitated a concrete plan to do. And it turned out really nice. She was able to get a foothold, and the next step, and I was able to follow, and we made it to the summit. But that experience really taught me a lesson about courage. It's so easy to fall into this sense of, especially from the gut, you feel so much tension and fear. And it was probably not a good idea that day to actually do that kind of climb. But since we were stuck, we had to find a way to get out. So I want to read a quote by Rosa Parks. And if you know who Rosa Parks was, in 1955, she was living in Montgomery, Alabama. And during that time, the Jim Crow laws were still in force. This is just before the civil rights movement was starting. And it was 1955, it was December 1st, towards Christmas. And she was a seamstress at one of the shops there. And she boarded the bus, and she went to the African Americans. They had to sit in the back, and there was like a little sign, with a border, and it was very full. So she sat in the white section, like just a little bit, like on the first row in the back of the white section, and she had several friends in there too, that people that she knew that were African American also. And then they drove to the next stop, and there was this Caucasian man that got on, and the driver said, he motioned for everyone to get up on that row, get up. It was like, get up or else, or kind of like, he was pretty threatening. And so three of the people went and sat in the back, but she was just sitting there. And then the driver came up and kind of put his face in her face and get up. And she was arrested. She was pulled off the bus and arrested. But that courage that she had to face that ignited the civil rights movement. And it inspired Martin Luther King. As a 25-year-old minister, he was just starting at the church there, and he gave voice to her experience, and so she became the spokesman. I want to read a quote by her. She was born in 1913. She died in 2005. She said, "I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear." Rosa Parks. And as I reflected on her life, I watched some autobiographies, and her grandfather was born into slavery in the South, and he always taught her to always think of everyone as equal. In other words, we're all, under the eyes of God, we are all equal. And he became, for the last 20 years of his life, he was a farmer. And his strength stayed with her. And his mother and father were also, they were courageous, but they weren't able to make that move. And she was the one, because of her support system, she was able to take that courage and take that step. And she'd been doing it all her life, basically. So, I'd like to talk a little bit about courage and what courage represents to me. Having lived in this beautiful home that God has blessed me with for so many years, is that when we help each other, we gain courage. And courage is an energy, it's a virtue, and it radiates down upon us. Through the lens of purity, we can see that our physical sun has the energy of virtue. It gives life to all plants and us. As our earth rotates around this beautiful, brilliant orb, it's bathed during times of the years of different qualities of virtue. And there's actually 12 of those qualities. And right now, we're being bathed by the energy of courage. And if you're familiar with astrology, there's 12 astrological signs that we look around us at night. We can see the 12 constellations, and those represent the 12 astrological months. So each one of those months gives us a certain personality, and that personality for this month of the divine is courage. And as we grow in meditation, if we grow more sensitive, if we meditate, we can really feel those energies. For the last couple of weeks, I was just feeling the things that I need to do to move forward and to release a lot of fears and anxieties and things, and get into courage. Part of it was just preparing this program that would be broadcast on YouTube and to everyone here. So I'd like to read a quote by our founder, Norm. And he says some beautiful things about courage. Your inner quest and surrender to Divine Mother Father gives you the strength and confidence to face and overcome your fears. The presence and containment of courage is realized through your love and devotion to Divine Spirit. Norm has written the book Life, Love, God, and it's in our stores, and you can read some of his personal accounts of his amazing experiences. But the theme of those experiences that he had, inner experiences that he had, is surrender. It's letting go of fear, and it's having the courage to meet his Divine Father and his Divine Mother. In one experience of the Divine Mother, he entered the breathless state. And at first, he was like, he kind of got really fearful because he was trying to gasp for breath, and he couldn't. And then the voice, or the image of this beautiful Divine Mother appears, and she says, "Breathe from my mouth the breath of life." And then he was looking down this tunnel, and the energy was swirling, and then he could feel this wind or this breath, just kind of, and he realized that he was in the breathless state. And this experience lasted 3 hours. He was in the breathless state. And from that experience, he realized that that pure self within him was immortal. And that gave him the immense sense of freedom. And that was really wonderful. And just a week later, he was able to have a cosmic conscious experience where he went through the light. But before he went through the light, the Spirit's nature is masculine and feminine, male and female. So the female energy prepared the soil for the experience with the masculine energy, the Father, to come as a brilliant sun. And that brilliant sun said to him interdimensionally, my son, are you ready to die today and come with me? And I know if I was asked that question, it was almost like when I was stuck on that cliff, I would have to make that decision. Am I ready to give everything up for you? And I don't think I was ready at that time. But Spirit was directing me. But as soon as he could say, there's nothing that I really want, Lord, only you, then these two forces merged inside and he expanded outward. And you can read that experience. It's really the basis of his teachings and the basis of what he wants that he's encouraging us to do. And it's nothing special. There's so many beautiful souls that have made that trip. Well, now I think we could go into the meditative part of our service. Love bestows courage. If that love is for the divine, we obtain the strength and courage to move through fear, life's challenges, the negativity. We become a son and a daughter. For truly, we are all one. An experience I had many years ago of seeing the light above the crown of my head, the energy from that light interdimensionally said, I am always here. I am always here. And I took away from that experience that, as Norm was saying, it's for everyone to experience through deep love, through deep meditation, through selfless service to our fellow humans. You can follow me now in a closing prayer. Dear Mother, dear Father, our hearts are filled with gratitude. For you giving us this life, giving us the opportunity to soar like an eagle. Help us to bring our light out from under our beds and carry it forth into this world. Remind us not to be too hard on ourselves and to realize that you never judge us, and that we can begin each day with new courage. We love you. Amen.
Oh, listen to life's sweet song, Can't you hear how she longs for perfection like in days that are gone? So sweet and oh so sad. So sweet and oh so sad. Father, you're melting us all into one bright shining blazing sun. And we've all had the blues much too long, so we're all going back home to you. Oh, big wheels are turning round all around us without a sound, and they're spinning within us too. Oh, I can feel the love, can't you? Oh, I can feel the love, can't you? Father, you're melting us all into one bright shining blazing sun. And we've all had the blues much too long, so we're all going back home to you. I'm going home to the sea of love, yes, of love. Won't you come on along with me and ride the stars above, and ride the stars above. Father, you're melting us all into one bright shining blazing sun. And we've all had the blues much too long, so we're all going back home to you. Yes, we